All right, welcome to the 1 year anniversary of Only Comics.
That's right.
I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
Good morning. Good morning.
And this is Chris.
Good morning.
Chris is back
today. I'm back. I came back
Blast
for
from
the
the
1
past.
year.
Yeah, after 1 year.
Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
Huge. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we made it a year, Adrian.
Yep.
You know, and I was thinking, there's a lot of things that didn't make it a year. You know, we've outlasted a lot of big name celebrities. So I had a couple things. Matter of fact, we outlasted Terrence Howard playing Rhodey. I mean, remember that? He lasted one movie. No offense. Bo DeMayo's X-Men run, the director that just got fired, we outlasted him.
Yeah.
You know, we outlasted Jonathan Majors as Kang. There's another one. And the Kendrick Lamar diss from J. Cole because he deleted it. So that's a whole nother story. But so what I wanted to do real quick, I have a little game prepared for you guys, Adrian. Okay? Yeah. So it's a little game called Longer or Shorter. Okay? I'm going to throw out something, and you guys are going to guess if we lasted longer or shorter than whatever I throw out. Okay? So, and I'll kind of give you the basis. So we've been around for a year, and this is our 53rd episode. Okay? So did we last longer than Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
Must have.
Yes, definitely. There you go. I wish I had a little bell. Ding, ding. You guys are both right. Okay. Did we last longer than Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad?
Yep.
No.
Nope. They got us by 10 episodes. Well, they are 62 episodes. We're at 53. So close. Now,
wait a minute. Are we talking time or are we talking episodes?
I'm making up the rules as we go, Adrian. You know how we do it. You know how we do it here.
All right. Don't ask that question.
Yeah. So Breaking Bad lasted 10. I think they lasted a season too long, so they should have ended it before Only Comics. So there's that. Nicolas Cage, your boy Nick Cage,
Oh, my God.
and his marriage to Lisa Marie Presley. Did we last longer or shorter?
He was married to Lisa Marie.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we lasted longer.
What do you think?
I think probably longer, but he's my boy.
He is your boy?
I am a Nick Cage fan.
It lasted 3 months, so here we are in 12.
Really?
Yeah, can you believe that? Yep.
It's tough out there.
It is. What about Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie's marriage?
I was going to say, I don't even want to think about that. I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
Did we last longer or shorter?
Did we last longer? I think so.
Think longer?
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris?
I think probably longer.
Nope,
Right?
shorter. 2 years they lasted.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yep, good for them.
Good for them.
So what happened with that kiss on stage? Like threw her off? She's like, dude, I'm done. I'm done.
2 more weddings. Here we go. Marriages. Amber Rose and Wiz Khalifa. Longer or shorter?
Amber Rose and Wiz Khalifa.
Say longer. I'm going to say longer.
You think longer?
Yeah. I'll say
We last longer than them?
Yep, you think so?
I don't think so.
Nope, you're right. They lasted 14 months. They got us by 2 months, Chris. Can you believe that? Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman's wedding or marriage.
Ooh. I think they lasted longer.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll say they lasted
They
longer.
lasted 9 days.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And last one, my man just passed away. The O.J. Simpson trial. Did we last longer than that?
Did we last longer than the trial?
Yeah, than the trial.
Ooh, that was a long one.
Yeah.
It was a long one. I'm gonna say no.
No? What do you think?
I don't think so.
No, we didn't. They only lasted 8 months. So there you have it. Longer or shorter. New game we just played here for our 1 year anniversary. Now, Adrian, I like to give gifts, right? Like this podcast is a gift to everyone watching. Okay. So I brought a couple gifts here today.
All right, let's see.
I'm gonna reach to my bag. Reach to my little bag here. Now first, I got something to show you. Do you know what this is?
It's a batarang.
Yep. Do you know where it came from?
I do.
Yep, where'd it come from?
From me.
Yep. So one day I come on to work, Chris, and this is sitting on my desk long before Only Comics. So this may be the spark that started Only Comics.
Okay.
Because I didn't know you were a comic book guy.
I'll take that.
You must have maybe saw something on my desk. Somehow you knew I was a comic book guy.
Yeah.
And you dropped off a batarang, and then so that started the whole thing. So I wanted to give you a gift, Adrian.
Oh, okay.
So I know that you're a coffee guy, right?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, our sponsor did not come through, Chris. But for when they do, I got you this coffee mug right here. Okay.
Nice.
And Chris, I got you something too. So I know you got the blue version. I got you a red shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Only Comics.
Red is my color.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you got the shirt because red is not my color.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
It brings out the beard.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
Wait a minute. Is that whole Santa thing you talked about?
I think so. I'm going to bring back a clip, Adrian, from our first episode.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy is right. So one of the dumbest moments I've ever seen in a comic book movie. And I mean, for every good movie, there's 3 bad ones. So we've seen some dumb shit.
Right.
but they're they're trying to kill each other.
For our topic,
and he just out of nowhere calls his mom's name, right? You know, Superman, Martha, and then Bruce is like, or Batman's like, oh shit, I have a Martha too.
Right.
You have a mom, I have a mom. Let's stop fighting. We both have moms, and they have the same name. I'll go save her. You stay here.
Right.
I'll go save your mom and shoot a bunch of people. Like what?
The movie starts with like Batman deciding to kill a man. Like he decides immediately. Like
we're already off the rails. That's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
Take a little trip to the past here.
Guy?
Yeah.
Like, which is completely out of character.
That's the problem.
Because that's Batman's and Superman's crutch.
Yeah.
They will not kill people.
Right.
And I think people are also kind of exhausted with that too.
Yeah.
And because I mean, certain people like the Joker, he should probably go in at least some universe.
Right. Right.
know?
There we go. So
Nice.
that was off episode 1. Chris was in the house.
Yeah.
Now, so I figured, for this 1 year celebration, Chris, we were going to travel through time like they do in the comics. Okay. So we were talking about the Martha moment. Yeah. And it's funny that I bring that up from episode 1 because a segment later, we are going to discuss some of the worst comic book movies of all time. And we're going to attempt to figure out what are the 3 worst comic book movies of all time.
We're going to get to the bottom of this.
We're on the job for you guys. So I wanted to go back to this moment and see, do you still stand behind what you said a year ago here on Only Comics?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I said this, now you weren't on this episode, but I said that the Martha moment is the dumbest moment of all time in comics.
Oh.
I struggled. We went through it. You proposed. There were some other moments like the Tobey Maguire dancing in Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
The one that you love, the Thor. What's the Thor moment you love, Adrian?
That split. It's like it's just so ridiculous. I mean, it throws you back to that Richard Simmons 80s kind of a thing where he, prints around in these tights, never loses any weight, but he's makes all these millions of dollars doing dumb stuff. And it's like, what was the point?
Right.
Just what was the point?
What did I gain from that? Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. That was episode 1, a little Martha moment for you. So we figured out, a year later, instead of just talking about a moment that's stupid, we're going to give you some dumbass movies. So
and life is full of Martha moments.
It really
is. So that was the point of that movie, probably.
So to start off the dumb news of the week. So we do news and rumors every week, Chris. So we're going to go through a couple articles that I found this past week. Daredevil. Okay. We talk a lot about Daredevil on the show. Yep. We talk about Daredevil Born Again. We talk about the Netflix series. But you two may remember a distant past. There was another Daredevil version. It was 2003. Your boy Ben Affleck. He got in those red tights, dude, and made a mess of that movie.
Early 2000s.
So I got some good news for you guys. Okay, well I don't know if it's good news, but Daredevil 2003 is going to be added to Disney Plus pretty soon. So you'll get to watch Ben Affleck in his red tight glory.
My prayers have been answered.
Wait a minute, isn't Elektra already there?
I think so. Yeah, I think Elektra's there. So I mean, they wanted to build the anticipation for this Daredevil movie, so they teased it with Elektra. Now
I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for that. Yeah.
Are you gonna rewatch this?
I would absolutely. It's such a fun time. Oh my gosh, the musical montage, Evanescence. It's great.
But that brings up one of my points. I think so. Ben Affleck, besides he's getting up there in age, still looks good. For an older guy, but I think he's reached his two comic book limit.
Oh, okay.
He played Daredevil. He's played Batman. No more.
He's got too many miles on him for it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, would we all agree he's a much better Batman than he was a Daredevil?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, he thinks so as well. So he said this in an interview earlier, that Daredevil didn't work at all. That was before people realized you can make these movies and make them well. There was a cynical sense of put a red leather outfit on the guy, have him run around, hunt some bad guys, and cash the check. And he's also said, I hate Daredevil so much. Wow. But the reason this is in the news is Elektra, Jennifer Garner's Elektra, is rumored to show up in Deadpool and Wolverine in a few months because they're going to be in the void. They're taking some trip around the multiverse, kind of like we do, I guess, and they're going to run into Elektra at some point. So,
but what does it have to do with Affleck?
Because that's where that Jennifer Garner came from.
Well, but he's Batman now, so what does he care about what his ex is doing?
Well, dude, they want to share this amazing movie with us. They want to bring a little blast from the past, the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Get him back in the tights.
Get him back.
Let's get him in Deadpool. Let's run it again.
You want to see Ben Affleck back in the tights in Daredevil?
Let's do it.
In Deadpool?
Let's do it. Yeah, why not?
What do you
Why
say?
not?
No. I'm cool with him being, the middle-aged Batman. Let's just leave it there.
Right. Next up, Fantastic Four. So it's a movie that the MCU they're working on right now. Pedro Pascal's playing Mr. Fantastic. I don't remember the actress' name, but if you've ever seen Hobbs and Shaw, the actress who plays Shaw's sister is playing Mrs. Invisible Girl, Invisible Woman, whatever you want to call her today.
Sue Richards.
Sue Richards. There you go. Sue Storm, Sue Richards. I don't know what point they're going to be. But so this movie is supposed to take place completely different timeline, back in the 60s, different universe. Julia Gardner. You ever seen Ozark?
No.
No, you seen Ozark?
No.
Julia Gardner plays one of the main characters in that show, but she's playing Shala Bal. I guess it's described as a female version of a Silver Surfer almost. Not that they're changing. This is an actual character that does exist. So it's kind of, they listen to us, Adrian.
Right.
Because initially, Chris, the rumor was they're going to make Silver Surfer a girl. And we're like, there's plenty of other heralds that are female that you can just take from. You don't have to take the Silver Surfer, make that one a female. That's stupid, right?
Character?
Yeah. Just take another character. There's plenty of them, right? So they listen to us, Chris, like they do sometimes. And Julia Garner's playing this Shala Bal, but they also, new piece of news is Norrin Rad will be introduced in the Fantastic Four. So there will be the, I guess, the classic Silver Surfer. Right. So I'm liking this news, dude.
Sounds cool.
You a big Silver Surfer fan?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Of course, I mean they've neutered his powers, on the big screen. But,
right.
He's definitely an integral character. I mean, he's one of those people that made the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We talk about, normal people making these characters, like Gordon making Batman, Alfred making, Batman, and all these guys. So Silver Surfer is kind of like intertwined with the Fantastic Four.
Right.
So definitely.
X-Men 97, dude. You watch X-Men 97? You check this out yet?
I've seen clips.
Dude, great show.
Yeah.
So we've been covering it kind of as we go. And the directors recently, they were interviewed, and they were basically expressed some interest in taking the X-Men into live action for the MCU. Now, they're directing the animated show, which this animated show is probably one of the best. I think I said it recently, the best thing Marvel's done since, like, No Way Home. What do you think about the animated directors getting a shot at making a live action movie for the X-Men?
Making a live action version of like the X-Men 97 or
no, just taking X-Men period.
They've obviously done worse.
Yeah.
So give them a shot. They might it might be that crossover that's needed in order to get, pump some more blood into this thing.
Yeah.
So I will say they understand the tone of the X-Men. Like the directors for this animated show, they get like. Were you a fan of the original animated series, Chris?
I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah. I always love the old animations.
Yeah. Well, they took that whole original style almost and updated it. It's still 2D, but the animation's so much better. Yeah. So that's one piece of news from these X-Men directors, Adrian. Then there's another one. I think you're going to like this one better. I said I bring gifts, so I got a gift for you here, okay? You're a big Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse fan,
sure,
right? We're going to find out later maybe if that's on my top 3 movie list, spoiler. But the directors also expressed an interest in taking an X-Men animated movie to theaters. So they got the series. They kind of jokingly said, we want 7 seasons, and then we want a movie in the theaters similar to the level of a Across the Spider-Verse type movie. They said that they, with what they could do with more time, more money would be amazing. I would love to see this personally. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. I think that's 7 seasons.
Yeah.
So 8 years, and then they'll put out a movie.
Yep.
I mean, this thing better be freaking like the Matrix. I mean, the technology in 7 or 8 years should be so mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should just feel like you're in it, and Spider-Man swinging around you. Not the 3D crap, but literally you're in a different world.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
So yes, I'm excited. I would be excited to see that.
Are you a fan of the Spider-Verse movies, Chris?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I am. I just think it changed animation.
Yeah,
I love how excited people get for it. I love how kids that's their Spider-Man now. It's amazing.
You say this all the time, Adrian. Like those movies have now, you no longer look at movies as, oh, that's an animated movie, that's a movie. No, that's just a movie. Yeah. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it really did change that genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, to Ben Affleck's point, back, now they realize that they could make comic book movies and make them good movies instead of just, let's just throw a cape on a guy and have him kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been in this for a minute now, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at like the old Japanese animation, Akira, Bubblegum Crisis, Ghost in the Shell. They were making Spider-Man Across the Universe level movies in the 60s and 70s. So I don't know why it took it's like America wants to make everything their own, so they'll shit on everybody else, hide all their stuff, and then they'll bring out their version of something. But, the Japanese, they were doing that decades ago. Decades ago.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. The directors also said that some of their main influences in X-Men 97 are 80s and 90s anime. And they listed some of the ones you just named. They listed that's where they've drawn like their style from and how to animate, which, I mean, it was one of the first things. I'm not even a big anime guy, but even after the first episode, I'm like, this looks like an anime.
Right.
Like some of it, the action at least.
Yep.
Last thing I discovered this week, Chris, so I take a trip down the multiverse every week and see what good stuff I can bring back. And sometimes I bring back things that shock me, right? So all three of us have seen Endgame, right? Great movie. And you can imagine with a movie like that, there's so many drafts of, hey, let's do this, let's try this. So Kevin Feige, who gets a lot of credit for a lot of his ideas, this was his idea for that movie, and the Russo brothers kind of fought against it. So they wanted to kill off all of the original Avengers in the Endgame movie. And the Russo brothers really fought. John Favreau actually lobbied against killing off Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, which we've talked a lot about on this show. So I guess, Adrian, you can now blame Kevin Feige for killing off Iron Man, killing off Black Widow and everyone else. But he wanted to kill off everyone. And I guess they kind of came to the consensus that would be too much for the audience to handle. Could you imagine watching Endgame and they're all just dead at the end?
One by one. It'd be that'd be a tough one to explain.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of did it with the snap, right? But they brought him back eventually. But, I mean, why would you? I mean, the reason that you have a director's job is bringing to the screen these heroes that have been around for decades, and your first thought is, let's just kill off everybody.
Get rid of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm glad they listened to the Russo brothers.
Right.
Now, but that brings up another question. Do you wish that he would have listened to John Favreau and not killed off Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s version?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to have done that in any way, shape, or form.
Right. What about you, Chris? You've seen these movies. I mean, you've been along for the whole ride. Are you glad that they killed off Iron Man, or do you think that was a mistake?
I like the way that character's arc ended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Following it from the first Iron Man movie then to there.
Right.
To have that payoff of the ultimate sacrifice in this character.
Yeah.
I like the way that ended. But then you look at the MCU now.
Exactly.
They lack a main guy.
Yep.
They lack a direction. It kind of fell apart after that.
Right.
It was like the big payoff. It really was a big payoff.
Sure.
And then we're on the come down from that.
Yep.
Right. Well, I mean, we actually lost a few main people.
Yeah.
You lost Cap.
Yep.
Because he went back in time.
Yeah, now he's all old. Yep.
Right. Then we lost Black Widow.
Yep.
Now we got her sister or whatever, the complete opposite. I don't know what that's about with the fat red guardian or whatever.
Right.
So we lost a few people so we lost Tony, which was kind of like the cornerstone, right? And then all these other things, they was like, well, he's gone, so let me go to whatever.
Yeah, but I agree. I think that moment, it's a great moment,
yes.
But because they wanted this big moment, they sacrifice the longevity, like the longer stories. Because I actually got this question from a viewer a few weeks back. They asked if I thought if the MCU ended at Endgame, would that have been the perfect ending? Now, assuming they would reboot and do something else. And I kind of think,
Yeah.
Because to your point.
I see it as that.
Yeah.
To me, it ended there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, those characters can continue on and do their own thing, but to me, the connection that I had with it, in the way that it did, that's a finite, it's a good ending.
Yeah.
I got what I wanted out of that. It's like the ending of Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Which
how
ending?
that exists.
Which one?
ending?
Yeah.
Episode 6.
There you go.
Where it ended.
Yeah.
To me, that's how it's always gonna be. And then Tony's death and the funeral and everything like that, I just thought it was like such a fitting end to that character.
Right. Yeah. I almost wish they would just reboot it then, But I guess that's what I think they're learning from that mistake, and that's going to happen with Secret Wars.
That would have been cool to reboot it then in the same movie to have the end of that universe and then in the same breath somehow do the multiverse thing.
Yep.
You know,
have a post-credit scene or something where
to birth something new out of it.
Yep.
Well, with Feige, you don't need some kind of way. He'll just snap. Leave it to you to figure it out, and then it's your fault because you don't understand.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. We're not smart enough. So, well, Chris, we like to end every news and rumors segment with a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So, it's just how we're feeling at the time. You have the right, as Adrian said, you put it very elegantly a few weeks ago, that you have the right to change your mind at a later date and time.
Oh, you don't?
Like
no, you don't.
No.
Absolutely, you do.
No, absolutely. That's not how this works.
Right? Yeah, not to some,
not anymore.
Well, we still follow by old rules here, and the good thing, we make them up as we go too. And I guess we want to let everyone know before you make it any further on this podcast, we are not experts, right? You're still not an expert.
I'm still not an expert.
You an expert, Chris?
No. I haven't been doing my homework.
No. So we may say some shit that's wrong. We may change our mind by the end of the show. Who knows? But I do know we're going to do a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So Ben Affleck's 2003 Daredevil is getting dropped on Disney Plus pretty soon. I am giving this a thumbs down.
Daredevil, Ben Affleck. I don't care. He's on so many. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. All right.
Forget all the rhetoric.
Chris.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to
all right.
start drinking with your boys and then throw on Daredevil. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for it.
All right.
Excited for it.
All right. We're starting to agree to disagree already. But see, the thing about us, Chris, we're different than everyone watching.
Yeah.
I don't get upset.
I'll never talk to you guys again.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, Adrian, he didn't agree with us. Don't invite him back.
No year two for Chris.
Yeah. We are more mature than that. So next up, Norrin Rad Silver Surfer rumored to appear in the Fantastic Four reboot. I'm giving this the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. X-Men 97 directors talk about potentially taking the X-Men characters into live action for an MCU reboot. I give that idea a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. You guys need something.
Yeah.
You need something. So.
For real.
Let's do it.
Same directors, X-Men 97 directors expressed the interest in bringing an X-Men animated movie to theaters along the lines of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I give that another thumbs up. Great idea.
Thumbs up. Don't like the timeline, but thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
And then the last one. So Kevin Feige, back when they were putting together Avengers Endgame, he had this great idea to kill off all of the original Avengers. Good thing the Russo brothers kind of fought that. So I guess we're judging Kevin Feige's idea here.
Okay.
And I'm giving that a thumbs down.
All right. Thumbs down on the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad idea. Boo.
Yep. Boo. Well, there you have it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Now we're going to get into a little of the Omega Level Mutant series, Adrian. Right. Okay, so we have this, and we're going to, I guess, let you know in advance because we had a long show. We're going to kind of breeze through this one. Yep. But this one, when we're talking about this week, is Hope Summers.
Yep.
Okay, so Hope Summers, the big thing about her birth, or about this character in general, she was the first mutant born after M-Day. So if you've ever read the whole House of M, Scarlet Witch line where she utters the words "no more mutants" and changes the whole Marvel universe as we know it. And then, mutant population goes from thousands to like hundreds in a snap almost. And even after that comic event, and I'm really summing it up, but even after that comic event, that we still see the impact of that. That slowly some mutants start to get their powers back, but there's no new mutants born for extended period of time. Hope is born, Cerebro starts going crazy, and right off the bat, there's all violence, chaos, different groups either trying to kill her, protect her, starts a whole uproar. And shortly after that, where she was born was her town was attacked by Purifiers, a militant anti-mutant group. They killed most of the residents, killed her biological parents, but Cable, my man Cable just is always at the right place at the right time.
Right. When you can time jump, you can do you can be anywhere at the right time or not.
He's just sitting there like, oh shit, mutant baby born. All right, let's go.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, I got it. Well, he is, and I really like. We talked about Deadpool earlier. I really like Josh Brolin's portrayal. I know you have a 2-character limit, Adrian. So Josh plays Thanos and Cable.
Right.
He can't play no more.
No more.
But this would be a list for another day. But I gotta, out of the actors that have played 2 comic book characters in separate movies, I want to say Josh Brolin would be on the list for killing both of them. Because a lot of times what happens is you get like a Daredevil rendition, which is horrible, so they were giving you a second chance, right? Mm-hmm. Or Ryan Reynolds with Green Lantern, now he gets to be Deadpool.
Well, yeah, but does Green Lantern count for Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, it counts. It definitely counts. Yep. But my point, like, they go from bad to good.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, Josh Brolin knocked them both out of the park.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So basically, Cable shows up and figures, what the hell, I'll adopt this kid, and he adopts the mutant. Really kind of is her protector for a while. There's all kinds. There's the different. The Messiah complex is a big storyline with her. The big one where she was introduced to me was X-Men vs. Avengers. I don't know if you ever read this line, but it's a big Marvel event, and it starts with the Avengers and the X-Men are kind of at odds because the Phoenix Force is returning, and they believe that it's going to bond with Hope, and we all know what happens when the Phoenix Force comes around. Everything goes to shit, right? So some of them are like, let's protect her. Others are like, well, let's just kill this chick. Who cares, right? Like, and then what happens is the Phoenix Force does show up, but 5 individuals get basically come across. Like Cyclops is one, which you read. What did we read? Secret Wars. Recently, where he had the power. So that's where it came from.
Did him no good.
Exactly. Yeah. Shit, dude. But anyways, I mean, so she ends up being, pretty instrumental figure in a lot of these stories, right? Okay. What have you done? You dug into her power set?
Yeah, I looked into it a little bit.
Yep.
Pretty amazing power set, or not, depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
All right. So her powers, if she's around normal people, she is a normal person. She has the ability to mimic or absorb powers, kind of like Rogue, of any mutant only.
Okay.
Not a person. She can't absorb the powers of Spider-Man. She can't absorb the powers of Power Man or Iron Man. Not Iron Man, but any non-mutant, she cannot absorb their power, right? But a mutant, which she's around all the time anyway, so she has plenty of power sets. So she doesn't have to touch you to absorb your powers. Not only does she not have to touch you to absorb your powers, she can sense the power that's in you. Now, what's really cool about her is that if you are an omega level mutant and you don't know, well, it doesn't matter because she already knows. She can sense your power level and to use your power, even though you might not be able to, she can use your power to the fullest potential, even though you don't know how to use it.
Damn.
So that's cool. So, but then it's also like Rogue. If time and distance, the power fades away. So the way to nerf her or neuter her or null her, just put in a cell away from mutants, and she's nobody.
Okay.
She's just a regular human, right? But so what does that mean? What makes her a mega level? Well, what makes her a mega level is that not only can she absorb the powers of any mutant, not only can she exploit the fullest potential of any power, she can do it to simultaneous mutants, right? There's no known limit as to the number of mutants that she can absorb powers from simultaneously. But then she doesn't need any training. It's like the Matrix, right? Download me the schematics for this Bell helicopter, right? And she got it. She don't need to look at nobody. She already knows how to use the fullest potential of the power and know how to wield it. So that's the cool part about it with her. But again, she retains nothing after the fact. She can also transfer power to you, right? If you don't, if you have like a latent unit, you need some energy or something, so she can transfer the power to you, and to multiple people, probably I think across the globe, right? So that kind of stuff. So she has demonstrated the powers of pretty much everybody. Now, Cerebro didn't go crazy when she was born. Cerebro exploded.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So not only did it explode. So when they fixed Cerebro, she now had the ability to become undetectable. So Cerebro can't even detect her. Right. So think about this: any mutant, right? She can have their powers to the nth degree. So that's any power. So you don't have to talk about her power set because that's any power, right? From Phoenix Force all the way down to Cyclops' little optic blast and shit. So that's Hope Summers.
Yep. And she's Omega just because of the fact that there's no limit to her power.
Correct.
Because she could absorb any mutant's power.
Well, it's not only that she can absorb their powers, but she can use their the Phoenix Force came, right, looking to prowling around ready trying to inhabit somebody, right? And the Phoenix Force did know the Phoenix Force's own potential. She can absorb the Phoenix Force's power and take it to the level that the Phoenix Force doesn't even know that it has. Not only that, she can use it to the full. She doesn't have to learn how to use that power. She instinctively, automatically knows how to use that power.
Damn.
So that's what makes her.
Yeah.
And she can absorb 200 mutants' powers at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, not absorbing, because absorbing means taking away, I think.
Yeah.
But duplicating. She can can mimic their power.
When she takes their power, unlike if Rogue takes, I don't know, Wolverine's power, Wolverine's going to be like, incapacitated for a minute.
Right.
If Hope Summers does,
she mimics their powers.
He's fine.
Right.
She just mimics them.
Correct.
Got it. So I can see it should be a pretty badass character if used right.
I mean, think about it. I mean, if she's Phoenix, but then Iceman's around, which we discussed as another Omega, she can take his powers, right? She can take Cyclops' power and get rid of his, his Boy Scout shit, right? Use his powers. I mean, Professor X's powers. I mean, Storm's power. I mean, she can absorb all of that simultaneously. The problem is, the more power she absorbs, it becomes taxing. If you can imagine juggling all these powers, and using them and so on and so forth. But if she, if she has like a Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman is a mutant, nor is she even Marvel. But Wonder Woman, one of her abilities is that she can enhance her strength, speed, stamina just by mind power alone. So tap in somebody, a mutant that has that ability, and then boom, and she's also immortal. I forgot about that one.
Damn,
Hope is
that's a small one. Yeah.
So if she has a life-threatening event, the Phoenix Force will reconstitute her.
Wow. Oh, badass character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And one that, again, we've never seen on screen. Like, she could have been a hidden gem, We took a break off a hidden gem because we were doing this big 1 year episode, but she could be a hidden gem.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, to me, she was like Franklin Richards.
Okay.
I mean, even before they were born, they were knocking things off the register. Franklin Richards, as an embryo, almost killed his mother. They had to, travel to the negative zone, get the cosmic rod to come back to help, protect Sue during the childbirth. And, this chick, before she's even born, as soon as she's born, Cerebro blows up because he can't even handle the feedback. And then all of a sudden, the whole universe knows that this Messiah, which is what they kind of branding her,
right?
This Messiah has been born. So either she's going to save us or going to destroy us. And it's funny that Cable become her adoptive father, right? But what's the other guy from the future?
Bishop
is trying to kill her.
Right.
So it's like, two people that you think, fight side by side, they're just on complete opposites of this and have different reactions to this person.
Right. Which is, it's, jumping kind of into X-Men 97 a little bit. What's been cool about that show is we've seen Bishop and Cable both in little bits and pieces, but those are great characters that I love to see done well in live action. Like, we saw, Cable, for what his part was in Deadpool 2, I thought it was great, but there was no X-Men really in that movie outside of Cyclops and the fucking teenager, And Bishop we've only seen in Days of Future Past in that future kind of war thing, so he really didn't get to do much with the character. Right. But, if they're bringing X-Men into the MCU, allegedly after Secret Wars, I'd love to see those characters play a big piece, in that story.
I think when they get into – this is one of my scares about the comic book world. If there's no continuity meaning like, well, we're going to go down this path and let's stay here for like a decade, right? When you start bouncing all over the place, and then when you got Sony making the bullshit that they did with Madam Web, it's confusing, right? But you have so many other things. But then you start looking at, not only are you looking at the multiverse, like you're looking at with Loki, right? And you're looking at other worlds like, Asgard and things like that. But then let's start time jumping now, right? So we got Cable and Bishop from the future. We got Scott and Madeline's son, who's actually Bishop in the future, right?
Cable.
So you got Cable. Yep. So you get this time jumping thing, and now you're going to come out with a movie, The Fantastic Four, which is not only in another timeline but also another time. So all that stuff can kind of get confusing, especially if you're coming in for the first time, into comics. So that's kind of one of my scares with all this stuff.
Well, we've said this before, Chris. How do you feel about, like, if you're imagine someone who never got into comics right now.
Yeah.
And they know you're a comic guy, so they go, "Hey, Chris, I'm getting ready to get into some comic book stuff. Like, where should I start with the movies? Like, what would you even tell them?"
It's overwhelming. I always say like, how do I explain to my dad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're trying to explain like the current timeline,
Oh my God.
I don't understand it. I mean, I've Marvel movies come out and I kind of jump around on new releases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what I always recommend is start with Batman.
Yeah.
You
of course.
can ground yourself in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got into comics around when the Dark Knight trilogy was coming out.
Okay.
So DC, if you went on the DC website at the time, they would recommend you start there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they were like, all right, these are digestible. This makes sense.
Yeah.
This is before multiverse and all
Right.
this other things. I will say that I think the multiverse idea has become more digestible to audiences now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, like a couple of years ago,
It's a little overwhelming.
yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to explain that to people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think it's because it's there's been so much of it.
Yeah.
There's so much explanation along the way that it's like, oh, okay, it's like everything else now.
Yeah,
so now we're used to it.
Yeah, they got a generation of people on board with it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, which is impressive.
Right.
That they were able to do that.
It all started with Back to the Future and the time travel.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a big thing for like audience just grasping the fact of time travel, right? And you make up your rule. This will affect the future. It won't. And then went from there to different timelines. And now it's like, dude, I can barely keep up. I
can't keep up.
I just try to keep up. I'll read a Wikipedia page before I go see the next movie.
Right, you got to do your homework.
You do.
Well, that's why they should just release all the information about the aliens and all the advanced technology. So we can handle it.
Right.
Just let us know.
Just
Give us the information over a short period of time. We'll digest it, and then we'll come to our conclusion. We won't be scared.
Through science fiction, you're saying they're preparing us for the real shit that's out there.
No, they're trying to. Anyway, you're gonna say something, Chris?
It's a different podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll touch on that in a different
right here
way.
where we discuss comics and only comics.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes other stuff.
Sometimes.
Not that.
We'll put a pin.
I want to make it home tonight.
Yeah, right. So we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back a little bit. So speaking about you, Chris, people are probably thinking, well, who the hell's this guy? What's he doing here, right?
Yeah, they always think that.
Yeah, they always think that. Chris, this is your 5th episode, maybe?
Yeah,
something like
probably.
that. At least 5.
Yeah, probably 5.
So you lasted longer on this show than Dennis Rodman's wedding, So good for that, the marriage.
8 days.
Yeah. 9 days. Come on, don't sell them short, dude.
Okay,
9 It's like that
Those
last
are
day to get the
9.
paperwork done.
The first 9 days are the hardest.
Okay.
From what I hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Chris is here giving marriage
Giving
advice.
marriage advice, yeah.
So, but why Chris is here, dude? I mean, Chris, actually, I've never said this to you. One of the reasons I started this podcast is you inspired me. So I met you, 2 years ago? 2, 3 years?
Probably
something like that.
Probably 3 years ago.
3 years ago. And you had talked about putting a comic book together.
Yeah.
And Adrian, how many times you meet someone that says they're going to do something and does absolutely nothing?
A lot.
A lot, right? Like, so I thought, I hope he puts his comic book together. But I'm like, I don't know, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone tells me they're going to take over the world when they're drunk on Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday comes back around and it's like,
He's still
screw
clocking.
that,
Yeah.
But you did it. You made it happen. So this podcast was something that also kind of we threw out there as like a joke, and I'm like, you know what? Why not make a run at this? So you sparked some inspiration in me, Chris. But you put together a comic book, right?
Yep.
The first night.
The first night.
Which we talked about here, or you actually debuted here on the podcast.
I did, yep.
Now, I just want to let everyone know, where's the status of that? Where are we at? Can they purchase the first night? They can?
Yep,
Where
first
can they?
night is right on my website, chrisboyleart.com.
There you go.
You can buy a digital copy, you can buy a physical copy, and we're working on, I say it's a team of one. But, over the years, these are all ideas that I've worked on for years at a time. So I have friends. I mean, you guys know I've worked on this stuff. So I consider it a common idea that's being propelled here. New stuff is coming out soon. Towards the end of the year, I'm looking to self-publish more.
Got it.
And, I'm continuing the story of the first night. I've been working on that for months now, and I'm so excited for it.
Nice.
I'm so excited for the artwork and the story and everything.
Dude, it's awesome, by the way. I think you read it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great story. Artwork's great. So what's next? Is it a sequel to the issue that we read? I know you're working on a few different things. The next release, what's that going to be?
The next release...
Or can you even say? Am I putting you on the spot?
Tricky,
here?
yeah.
Okay.
It's putting me on the spot.
Right,
There's a couple different things that'll be coming out towards
Cool.
the second half
Got
of the year.
Well, we'll keep everyone posted here.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
when it's ready,
One of them is definitely I'll tell you, there's a sequel to the first night in the chamber.
Okay.
I'm just not sure how I want to go about releasing that yet. But there is something that's ready to go out.
Nice. Well, check out chrisboyleart.com. And also, right after you go check out chrisboyleart.com, go check out onlycomicsmerch.com. You get yourself this nice coffee cup, this nice red shirt I gave Chris, this hat here. I mean, all kinds of stuff, dude. So, up next, so we typically do agree to disagree here on Only Comics, but I got a little something different, Adrian. I went back into the past without you, and I pulled some past agrees and disagrees. And we're just going to revisit them here, and we're going to see, number one, did we change our mind?
Okay.
We're going to find some things we were right about, some wrong about, and we're also going to see if Chris agrees or disagrees with some of these statements. So, all right, these are some disagrees, okay? I had said, Adrian, the Marvels would be better than Black Adam, okay? And after watching those movies, you disagreed with me. You knew Black Adam was going to be better. Yep. Now, have you seen these two movies?
I have not.
Okay, so we're just going to tell you which one's better. Okay, you just have to trust us.
I've heard great things about Black Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam was great. Yeah. Which a lot of our fans don't agree with. Really? But I was wrong about this. The Marvels was not better than Black Adam. Now, do you still agree, or do you still disagree that the Marvels was better than Black Adam?
I don't know what the question is, but Black Adam was better than the Marvels.
That's the question. Yes. Okay, yep. I also said this, Chris, that Robert Pattinson is the best live-action Batman. Do you agree or disagree?
You can just tough. You can just
it's tough.
It's tough between him and Bale. It's tough between him and Bale.
No.
It's tough. You could say
I just want you to remember that voice. Where is she?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Saying.
Yeah.
The little lips, he did the little lips.
He
did. Looked like Donald Trump when I thought he was going to break out and say the American people. Like I thought he was going to do that, but
the American people.
That's good. I got it.
He needs the hands. If
he does, he does need the hands. So.
Greatest Batman.
So who is?
I said, "Wow, it's a great Batman."
So what do you say, Robert Pattinson? Yes. No? Do you agree or disagree?
I think I disagree.
Okay.
I think I disagree because I've rewatched the first Bale movie.
Oh, Batman Begins.
Yeah, I've rewatched a couple times, and it keeps aging well.
It does.
So
this was not planned, but I did say this in the past. I think you agreed. Well, we'll try it again here live. Batman Begins is better than The Dark Knight Rises, the third movie. Yeah.
That movie's on.
They just get crazy after.
I like that. Crazy. You just made up a word. Crazy and cringy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that is a good way to explain some of the third movie. It is a little crazy at times.
Yeah.
Like the Bane reveal was just a little much. Like, why does he have to be
Batman's
Talia's
death
brother?
Was a little weird in that.
Yeah, and he's just at the cafe, like, I'll take a latte.
Didn't think to call,
And Alfred just happens to be at the same cafe, and just kind of like, oh, what's up? My adopted son.
Yeah,
like nothing.
I live here now.
Yeah,
I forgot to tell you. Sorry, but Batman Begins is still, one of my favorites.
Yep.
One of my favorites.
Here's another one I was wrong. Now, Adrian, I am he who is always right, right? He was right.
So, almost always.
Always right. Almost always right all the time, Chris. So, but I was wrong about this one. I said that Aquaman 2 would flop harder than the Marvels, and it did not.
I think we were both wrong about that one.
No, you disagreed.
Did
you
I?
were right, yeah.
Oh,
yep,
okay.
you were right. So, and maybe in another timeline you agreed. So with the multiverse now, Chris, it's hard to keep up.
Either way, we're not mad at each other.
No.
Remind me because I'm misremembering. Is the Marvels the one with Captain Marvel and
the other two? Yeah, Ms.
the other
Marvel.
two. That is that one.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said that Aquaman 2 was gonna flop hard because that was a flop, dude. Like I think me, you, Adrian, and like 3 of our viewers went to see it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I don't even think Brie Larson went to see it.
Right.
But but anyway, Aquaman 2 did 400 million global box office, and then the Marvels did only 200. So Aquaman 2 actually did decent numbers.
It deserved.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still haven't seen Aquaman 2, but I actually liked the first one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, like, really, Jason Momoa's character, you know how they do that black-white thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only transformation that they've done that actually was successful to me.
Yeah.
The Black Human Torch, and forget about the Lawrence Fishburne, Professor X. Please don't do that. I'm brainwashed.
Yep.
I'm brainwashed. 40 years.
The other one I say that I liked too was Jeffrey Wright's Gordon in the Batman. I thought he did a decent job.
Yes.
There, embodied that character, and that was one that was changed.
It is a very good movie.
Yeah,
it is a very good movie.
Speaking of that, this is actually the last one. I said, and Adrian disagreed with me. I said the Batman, The Batman is better than Batman Returns, as much as I love Batman Returns as a movie.
I will say I prefer that movie over it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I prefer what over what?
I prefer The Batman over Batman Returns. I do.
Adrian, have you changed your stance on this?
No.
No.
I have not.
Now, the good thing about these movies...
That is a good movie. The Batman is a good movie.
Sure.
I have come to terms with it. It is not a Christmas movie, but it's
not a Christmas movie.
Good movie.
You know what? The Batman Returns though is fun.
It is.
I think you get more fun watching that.
Yep.
You know,
definitely. And the good thing is you can watch them both on different holidays because the Batman's a Halloween movie. And the Batman Returns is definitely a Christmas movie.
Isn't Batman always a Halloween movie?
Yeah.
Even during Christmas?
Absolutely.
I mean, Gotham is like a Halloween kind of town.
That's true. You could watch any Batman movie on Halloween. That's why Batman... And people say that we're Marvel biased here. But Batman's my favorite character, so how would that ever make sense? Are you Marvel biased, Adrian?
I am not Marvel biased.
No.
I am not. But, and I don't know if you guys ever want to go back and catch the old hidden gems. Gotham was actually a hidden gem.
Really?
We did it, the whole history of Gotham, why it's so creepy and weird,
right?
Why the sun never shines, all that good stuff.
How could we be Marvel biased if Gotham was a hidden gem on our show, Chris? Answer me that. Riddle me that. Yeah. That's another DC reference.
Science said it was couldn't be done.
All right, now some of the agrees, and let's take a look at some of these we were wrong about, Adrian. Okay. I said Echo would be a top tier MCU show, and you said agree. And we've both seen Echo. Have you seen Echo?
No.
Okay, you don't need to. You could probably just watch the last episode. But would you say that Echo, looking back on this now, was it a top tier MCU show? Top tier.
Not only was it not a top tier, it wasn't even an Echo show.
No, that's true.
It was a Fisk show.
It was a Fisk show. And if they would have just made it a Fisk show and focus, like tell us that you're focusing on a Fisk, it probably would have been 89 times better. So here's one that you agreed, and I stand behind this one strongly. You'll see where you fall on this, Chris. There should be no restoration of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think let's just
seen enough.
Yeah, I think we could burn it.
Yeah,
it's all right. You know, they're not all winners. No, all right. You know what I mean? They don't have to be. Let's just
see. At least it's not just us because we get a lot of shit, Chris, from the fans. They're like, what's wrong with Zack Snyder? You guys just hate Justice League. You hate Zack Snyder. I'm like, no, it's just so overrated.
Yeah,
and it's so long.
Yeah. It's so long. I mean, a movie, you should be able to go and see a movie, get home, and still be able to eat some popcorn before bedtime, you know what I mean? But you can't, the movies now, you got to cancel your plans.
Exactly.
Dude,
crazy.
4+ hours.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No. And then that wasn't good enough. We had to do it black and white.
Yeah, we do it in black and white.
Come on.
Yeah, you want to really be bored? Watch this in black and white now. Now, you're an art guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're an artist.
Yeah.
Why do we need these great movies with all this CGI and special effects then done in black and white?
I don't really know. I think can't you just do that in Premiere?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just put a filter over.
Yeah, just give it, I will say I watched an interview with Snyder that made me change my opinion on him as a person.
Okay.
I found him to be more of an art guy than I did before. Whereas before I saw he was a loud director.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I started to understand that better. But still, the idolization of him in particular vision from a fan, but you know what I mean? Let's just give someone else a shot.
Yeah, it's a little much, definitely. But yeah, I can see him being an artist. I mean, there are some really cool shots in some of those movies. And we've talked before about how some of the casting was great. Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, not so much,
Yeah.
But some of the casting was really good.
Right.
But yeah, I stand behind it. What about you, Adrian? You want to see them now restore the Snyderverse, or are you still saying no?
No.
Okay. No.
I'm good.
Here's another one. I don't know. I think you may change. Actually, I'm not going to assume. I'm just going to throw it out there. I said Logan is a better movie than The Dark Knight. You agreed with me at this point. Now, almost a year later, would you change your stance on it?
No, I still think Logan is a
better movie.
Yeah.
About you, Chris? Logan or Dark?
I'd still put The Dark Knight.
So Dark Knight?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I think for me it was I love both the movies.
Yeah.
Me the emotion behind Logan and the fact that it was like not the first, but one of the biggest rated R comic movies at the time, and we got to see full Berserker. There's just so many ups with that. Now it had the benefit of having more story kind of tied into it. Dark Knight was the second one of this trilogy, but yeah, I stand behind Logan being better.
I do remember us discussing that. I liked it for different reasons. They're both, like you said, they're both very good movies.
Yeah.
But Logan was a more mature, because any Batman movie is basically a detective movie. It's a cops and robbers kind of
Right.
movie. Yeah. But on its own, it was a good movie. But Logan was also very good. But if I have to choose one or two, I go with Logan.
Yeah.
Only because of the maturity of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's one that I think I'm gonna play a clip for this one, because this, Adrian, became our biggest. This was our biggest video on TikTok. We got 1 million views on this one, so I'm gonna share it with you here, and we'll see if. Now, actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna share the statement first, and then the follow-up video. Okay. So the statement was, the X-Men would destroy the Justice League. Okay. Chris is nodding along. Right. Before I say anything further, when you hear that statement, Chris, what do you think? How does it make you feel?
I mean, I guess I am a Justice League guy. So
okay.
I don't want my team bullied.
No. The question isn't, well, I guess the question is how you feel about it. But, okay, so my question is, would the X-Men destroy the Justice League?
You know what? I don't think I know enough about the X-Men as a whole.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair.
To give an ample...
Yeah.
I would be rooting for my team, though.
You would, though.
I'd be trying to get them roided out. Just.
So just like a lot of our viewers, Chris doesn't know enough about the X-Men, and they think we're wrong, Yeah. So there's that.
Right.
And then when we said this, Chris, they were begging for an explanation, right? So we let the anticipation build for a few weeks, and then we said, you know what? Screw it. We're going to give you an explanation. So I want to play, Adrian. This is one of my favorite videos of you, Adrian. Okay? Y'all ready?
Let's go. It only takes 2 X-Men to destroy the whole Justice League. Xavier and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Xavier put him to sleep, and Wolverine just go around chop everybody's head. It's done, because they don't have a psychic person on Justice League.
Just go around chop it off. What about Martian the Manhunter?
Well, he does have some telepathic ability.
They have one. We have Jean Grey and Xavier.
Plus you got Cerebro. Xavier, Phoenix, Cerebro.
Yeah.
Could easily overpower Man Martian. Besides that, just turn on a cigarette lighter and the Man Martian goes
That's my favorite part.
Panic attacks.
And then you got people go, you got Superman. I go, well, you have Rogue, who is strong as hell, and she can absorb your power.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All she has to do is put her hand on Superman's face.
That's it. Right. Just get to him once.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. So I double down. The X-Men destroy the Justice League. It happened. It'd be so quick. It'd be in a post-credit scene at the end of the movie. All right. So it's a lot to unpack.
There's
right
a
there.
lot. Yeah.
So people pointed out the fact that I referenced we as we were part, but we have determined one thing that I didn't tell you about before you came here today. We are mutants, me and Adrian.
Gotcha.
We have several mutant. We're learning our mutant abilities as we go.
Yeah. Right.
One of them is people said we had podcast voices, and I said no, we don't. It's just a mutant ability. So that's one of them. There's a lot of others.
Mutant ability to podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So we have the mutant ability to be right most of the time, and this is one that I still stand on this ground. I stand on this hill, die on this hill. The X-Men will destroy the. Have you changed your thought at all?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, the more we dig into hidden gems, the more easy it is.
Yep.
The only survivor, I think, would probably be Wonder Woman. Everybody else would just kind of go away.
Just go away.
Yeah. People said, how do you know adamantium could cut through Superman's skin? It's a good question. But I mean, alien metal versus alien skin.
Plus, he's allergic to the rock.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's a bad.
Well, he's also allergic to magic.
That
which is the basis of some of Jean Grey's power.
They?
Right?
They did.
They really did.
I mean, Boy Scout, magic, and a green rock. I mean, come on, just stay away from those 3 and you'll be all set.
Right. I mean, you had Scarlet Witch in the X-Men. She's all magic-based, so there you go. Martian the Manhunter, I like your idea, is a little match.
Yep.
I mean, most of the X-Men, someone has a match somewhere, right? A little cigarette lighter or something.
I mean, comparatively, I mean, you could put Storm in a coffin and that would kind of nerf her, but that's
true.
It's a little harder to put somebody in a coffin than it is to strike a match.
That's true. We didn't even talk about Storm, dude. Her power, we had her on Omega level mutants recently. Her power is insane,
right? Or Iceman.
Come on. We said Iceman would solo the Justice League. People, but you know what the fans said? They said only comics would defeat the Justice League. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, most likely.
Absolutely.
We may have to bring Chris in, so there's one more person, 3 of us, we should definitely be able to take him out.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, isn't there a game, the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Yeah. Yep. So one more here. So you agreed with me on this. Spider-Man 3 was better than the Eternals. You still agree?
Still.
Yeah, still.
Pretty much most things are better than the Eternals.
Yes. Now, this was your era of movies.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Spider-Man 3?
I love Spider-Man 3.
Really?
Granted, I mean, look, it has its problems.
Yeah.
Okay, let me backtrack.
He looks like, I don't drink too much. Like, he's explaining, like, look, it has its problems.
Right.
But
it's fun. It's fun. And, you know, if I remember correctly, I think it was one of those things where it got held up in production or something like that, and they ended up changing the main villain for me. He didn't know a lot about it. It's fine. But for what it was at the time, I had a lot of fun with it. I like the back and forth with Harry and Peter in that movie, but it does have its goofy moments. Him dancing.
Oh, God.
I love how it's aged. You know what I mean? But that trilogy.
Would you say that it's better than all of the bad Sony Marvel movies? Like, you know, you got the Venoms, the Morbius, the Madam Web.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like we're freestyling agree to disagree right here. You know?
I mean, Sony should just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just, you know, give up the rights and make some money off of it. You know, so for every movie you put out, give me $1 or whatever, or a cup of coffee or something. You know, but they just want to keep holding on to it just so they can make bad movies. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's just people like me that are hate watching these things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and why do you want that to be your legacy? Like I saw Morbius because it would be so funny to watch it be so bad. You know what I mean? That's their legacy.
Well, I think that's a great segue into the bottom 3 of all time. You know, we discuss. Now, before we get in that, please like this video, subscribe, share this with somebody. Let them know it's the 1-year anniversary. For the love of God already. Jesus. So anyway, Madam Web, pretty bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
Now, by the time we're done with this conversation, I'll know my bottom 3. Okay. I'm thinking Madam Web is on it, though.
I'm thinking Madam Web. I just watched it recently, so it's fresh in my mind, and it's definitely stinky. It's definitely.
So this may be on your bottom 3.
It definitely is a contender.
By you, Adrian, you think it was that bad? He's thinking.
Well, there's bad.
Yeah.
But then there's like useless kind of thing.
Yeah.
Madam Web was kind of useless.
Yep.
It wasn't necessarily bad.
Okay.
The Eternals was bad. So I got two different. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to spin.
I got you. So it's in the runnings though. It's not off the table. Got it. What are some other, like, do you have your list? You got your bottom 3 set in stone?
I don't have a bottom 3 set in stone. Okay. I just have notes. I have like little.
What are some that are floating around?
Daredevil is definitely one of those. But
Daredevil's there.
You know, and I want to say all these. The worst ones I have fun watching. You know, it's fun to watch it be bad.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't have that gene. It's like,
your mutant.
I just want to get up and leave, dude.
Yeah.
It's like I can't. There's no fun in watching something that just it's ridiculous.
So wait, is Chris a mutant too then?
Possibly.
I might be. You know why I think Madam Web is in there though is because I think watching it, it just felt stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was written terribly.
Yes.
Like and you'd hear some of the lines and you'd roll your eyes. And you're like, I can't believe it made you feel bad. That like, I'm taking time out of my day to watch this.
Right.
You know?
I don't know. When I started thinking there's so many other ways that, you know, there's people, I don't want to go with the people starving across the world thing, but I mean, there's so many bad movies out there that somebody took hundreds of thousands of dollars at the very least and made some crap, right?
Yeah.
When they could have did something so much better with it. And when I start thinking about that, that's a bad movie to me.
Yeah. And with Madam Web, one of the things that a lot of things pissed me off about that movie, but one of the things that really pissed me off is in the marketing for this movie, we see all of these 3 chicks in their full getup, right? The whole Spider-Woman costume, the Madam Web, and the only time that happens in the movie is in the damn flashbacks and the future. Like, what was the point of that?
I don't know.
And the other part that really annoyed me was the dancing around Spider-Man for the whole movie. What's the baby's name? It's going to be, and then we cut to another scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what's the girl's name?
Yeah.
And he just sits there in silence.
Yep.
Like,
Ben Parker playing the damn paramedic, and he's dating May, but we can't say it's May because we can't mention Spider-Man.
Yeah, and the part in the spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, they're not going to watch it anyways. So
yeah, when at the end of the movie, she's sitting there in the hospital, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they just delivered the baby. Peter's super healthy or whatever." And Ben is really excited to be an uncle. He's like, all of the fun without any of the responsibility. And she laughs. She's like, "That's what she thinks, or that's what he thinks." She knows he's gonna die.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a wild thing to do. She's laughing off like, "Yeah, my friend's gonna get shot, and that's gonna be fun." It's crazy.
And the thing I was thinking at the end about that part is like, okay, so if you know this kid is going to be Spider-Man, and you got all these spider chicks around you, and where were all these chicks when Peter was learning how to use his powers?
Right.
You know, they could have like cut his learning
exactly,
curve and, in half.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Her being able to, I don't know. It just she was laughing off the death of her friend a little too easily. It was a little odd.
That's what you think, buddy. Yeah,
that's what you think. Yeah, that's not going to be fun for you.
Right.
Yeah, that is that's something. What others? I mean, I would not put Spider-Man 3 that low. What about the Venom movies? I wouldn't put them that low.
No, Venom 1 is incompetent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've said before, there's a good portion. There's got to be like 30 or 40 minutes missing from that original movie where he's like, I hate humans. They're bad, blah, blah, blah. Very next scene, humans are awesome.
Yeah.
I want to save them. You know what I mean? And you
Lethal
can tell,
protector.
like, all right, you cut something out of here that should have been there. I never saw the second one. I heard that one was inexcusably bad.
Yeah. I mean, it has its moments, kind of like the first one. It has, to your point of Madam Web being fun, I think this is, it's a bad movie, but it's closer to being kind of like just below average movie.
Yeah.
But there are some cringe moments. Would you say crazy earlier? Yeah, there's some crazy moments in there, definitely. There's like this whole love story between Carnage and the girl that just gets kind of like a little too cheesy.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson did a decent job, but it felt like they were trying to make it bad. Like if they would have just like chilled a little bit, like everything didn't have to be so over the top. It also was way too fast moving too. But yeah, it's right up there with the first one. Probably still better than Madam Web.
I feel like that's a trope with movies now, is to make them so fast. Let's move you so fast to one scene to the other. That way you don't realize what's going on and you don't realize it's bad.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You got to rush it out.
Yeah.
Sounds like what the government is doing every day. Just flash stuff in front of you so you don't know, don't realize what's happening, but let's distract you over here with all this. Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, so the more we talk, I think Madam Web's on my list. I'm going to put Madam Web on my bottom 3. Yeah. Now, there's movies like Batman and Robin with George Clooney.
Yeah.
That's a bad one.
It is.
Would you say that is – have you seen The Flash?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
You should check it out. You should. Would you say Batman and Robin with your George Clooney, the nipple suit, all that great stuff, is that better or worse than The Flash?
Better.
Wow.
Better because back then I really had no expectations, and they could have done all that stupid stuff, and it was a ridiculous rendition of these characters.
Yes.
But the Flash was more disappointing because I expected so much more today from a Flash movie. You know, so it was more disappointing bad than Clooney's stupid bad version of the Batman. You
got Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
We think that could make the list?
Yeah, I think that one was offensively bad.
It was.
Watch. Yeah,
it was offensive.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, that was not a fun bad movie.
No,
and that was when there was no excuse for it to be that bad.
Right.
Because it's in context. It's a cool story. Jane's got cancer. The only thing keeping her, alive is this power, but it's also killing her when she uses it. Like, and the fact that they wanted to make that a comedy. It's almost to your point of like Madam Web going, "Hey, you're gonna die, bro."
Yeah.
This one's like, "Yo, this bitch is dying, but use the power. Yeah, go use it again."
Right,
like, no, it's killing her.
Yep.
And all Thor's worried about, like, she loves the hammer more than me or whatever. Like, dude, she's dying.
Yeah.
It's just.
I don't know if I'd put it in my bottom 3, but it was definitely. Yeah.
All right. Well, now you got
probably
to
a contender.
throw one in there. That's worse than that.
Also, you brought up Green Lantern. I think that's a good poll because that one is not fun bad. There's not a lot of laughable like haha at it. You know, it's just like
just bad.
It feels like a waste of time.
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't throw a flag on that. So would we all universally agree that Green Lantern?
Yes, it's definitely on my list.
Is Madam Web one we universally agree on?
Madam Web, it's on the cusp.
All right, give me one. Give me one worse, Adrian. That's how we're gonna figure it out.
The Eternals.
Ooh,
the Eternals. I think the Eternals again because of the disappointment.
Okay.
Madam Web, I had no expectation of it. You know, all I do is you see this fat Spider-Man lookalike right in the commercials, and three girls in some version of a spider costume that I've never seen before. So I had no expectation to begin with. And the Madam Web that I grew up with was what she became at the end, except 900 years older.
Yes.
The Madam Web that I'm used to is this old, wrinkled up lady, looks like a female version of Magneto in X-Men 97, in a wheelchair with a blindfold on. That's the Madam Web I knew. So this Madam Web and this team of, I had no expectation whatsoever.
Got it. Eternals. See, Eternals, that's a bad one. I'm trying to think if I would rewatch any other movie before Eternals. I'd rewatch Venom and all those movies before.
That's a good indicator.
Yeah, that's how I do it
here,
Yeah, like you're locked in a jail cell, Chris, and you have to watch either Madam Web again or Batman and Robin,
Yeah.
I'd watch Batman and Robin in a minute.
I watched Batman and Robin. Yeah. Because you know what kept me watching Madam Web? I was waiting for the moment where they called her Madam. Because I was going to chug a PBR or something. And it never came.
Never happened. No.
Yeah.
Yep. I got a couple that we may agree on. So we all agree Madam Web's on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was the other one we agreed on?
Mine was Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. So that's what Universal. That's how we're gonna do it today. We're gonna find another one we all three agree, and that's gonna be your list, and you're gonna have to just live with it. Yeah. We Thor: Love and Thunder was one. Oh, X-Men: Dark Phoenix.
I didn't see that one.
That's a bad one. Yeah. You didn't see it.
I saw it. Don't really remember it, but that's with Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
Just for that alone, the fact that I don't remember the movie, but I remember her portrayal in the movie makes it bad.
Yeah, she was bad. Yeah. What about you, Chris? Another bad one.
Morbius.
Ooh. Morbius.
That one was cool because they tricked people into thinking that they liked it. Remember, they re-released it in the theaters.
Yep.
And they
Everyone's asking for it.
Money. They lost money on it twice, which is wild.
Yeah. Morbius is bad, dude.
It's bad.
Let's see if we can find a worse one.
Well, I mean, besides Secret Invasion, are we even?
That's a show, though. That's it got out. It got out by the skin of its teeth. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're doing shows.
Oh, we're doing show. Ooh.
Movie.
You know what? Maybe we're just gonna give you the bottom two and some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
So we got Madam Web. Yep. We got the Green Lantern.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, do we all agree Thor: Love and Thunder is that bad?
I hated it.
Yeah. I think that's our three.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is, we talked about this, ad nauseum in the beginning about they decided that, they figured out that people liked a little comedy.
Yeah.
And then they tried to make everything funny. So they trying to make Thor a stand-up now.
Yeah.
Doing splits between two goats or whatever.
And the goats, the screaming goats. Like every time you think all right, the cringiness has stopped. Then you just hear those fucking goats out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. You know what? Another reason I keep going back to Madam Web because I just saw it, so it's top of mind.
Yeah.
And it feels like we've reached the bottom of the barrel because, like I was telling you, it's edited wrong, like incorrectly too. Like they'll play dialogue over like what there's and the actors' mouths are not matched up with it.
Yeah.
Or they'll play the line and then they film like to the side and you can see their lips aren't moving and everything. It just feels like a movie no one cared on. Right. You know what I mean? So why should I care to watch it kind of thing? Yeah. So at the end of movies like that, you feel like you've wasted time. So I'm having a hard time thinking of something right now that's like could top or live in the same realm as that.
I think that's the worst. I think I'm going with Madam Web as my all-time worst comic book movie.
Over Daredevil.
Over Daredevil. Yeah. Yep. So, well, this is our. You got another one? Go ahead.
The second Fantastic Four.
Ooh, with Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch. Yeah. Ooh, that one is bad. That one is bad. I don't know if I'd put it worse than these, though. I think I'd rather watch that over Madam Web.
Okay.
Well, here's our official list. We're going to go with Madam Web. Now, this is how we'll determine what's the bottom. So we got Madam Web, we got Green Lantern, and we got Thor, Love, and Thunder.
Right.
Okay? You got to watch one of the three to get out of jail, Adrian. Which one are you picking?
Madam Web, Green Lantern, Thor, Love, and Thunder. I have to watch one or
one? Just one? Yep. That's the first part of the question.
I actually would go with Green Lantern.
Okay. What about you?
I would second that.
Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there were visuals in Green Lantern.
Right.
I'm like, all right, it's nice to look at.
Right.
Bad. It's not a good story there, but it looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. I could agree with that. So what we'll do, so that's number 3. All right. Number 2. So now we got Thor, Love, and Thunder left and Madam Web. Now you got to watch one of these. I'm going Love and Thunder. I'd rather watch that than Madam Web.
I'd rather watch Love and Thunder.
Yeah?
Even with the split, yeah.
Oh, the deciding factor here.
Yeah. I'd rather watch Madam Web.
Okay.
I think I had more fun watching that one be bad than I did because I knew they were both going to be bad, but not as bad as they were. I think I had a little bit more fun watching Madam Web be bad, and I think it was shorter. I genuinely thought that Thor, Love, and Thunder was like insultingly bad, and it felt like a waste of time, energy. I was just like, I can't believe you guys worked on this. You know what I mean? I felt like nothing afterwards.
Yeah. I did. I think I look at it from there's one redeeming quality about the Thor movie, and that was Christian Bale playing Gore, the Butcher. I thought he did a great job. I thought some of the kind of your point about Green Lantern, some of the visuals were really cool. Like in the end, when this is where black and white works, where everything was black and white except for like the power, like and it was just at the end of the movie. You want to see the whole fucking 4-hour movie in black and white. Yeah. But so for that, I would change my vote based on that. Okay. I would change my vote based on that. We sold him.
Yeah. I think he was. I liked his portrayal of that. I think that saves it.
All right.
To be my.
Do you agree, Adrian?
Rewatch.
The bottom 3, we got Green Lantern is number 3. We got Thor, Love, and Thunder is number 2. And then the number 1 worst movie of all time, Madam Web.
I'll go with that.
All right. There you have it. There's our official. That's how we do it here. Now, top 3. I got mine already. I know these.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have your top 3? Do you know?
Top 3.
I came ready for this one.
Yeah, I got my top 3.
All right. My number 3 is Logan. What's your number 3, Adrian? We're going to give you guys 3 lists this time.
My number 3 is Batman.
Which one?
Christian Bale, the first one.
Batman Begins?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That was a little curveball you threw at us. What about you, Chris? You had a number 3 movie of all time.
Number 3 movie of all probably, you know what? Probably like Iron Man.
All right, the first one?
The first Iron Man.
There you go.
Yeah, the 3 slot. I think
there you go. That's a solid. That's a solid 3 slot, right?
Yeah.
Iron Man's up there. Now, so I got Logan. My number 2 is Avengers Infinity War. Number 2. About you?
That's also my number 2.
Okay. About you, Chris?
Probably Batman Begins.
Batman Begins. All right. So Adrian's number 3 is your number 2.
Yeah.
And my number 1 movie of all time, comic book movie, is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay. Mine is the first Iron Man.
Oh, shit. Look, that's why you didn't say. You kind of slow played that when Chris said it. You didn't want to spoil your number 1.
I always forget Across the Spider-Verse and everything, so I would probably switch that.
Okay.
I would put Into the Spider-Verse for my number 3.
Gotcha.
Probably.
All right.
My number 1 is 2002 Spider-Man. It's still
Tobey Maguire.
It'll probably never change.
Wow.
You know, I just think it's such a perfect
It is great.
movie. If I were to watch no other superhero, I just feel like everything with that character was done correctly.
And that was kind of like where I felt like it switched from being like comic book movies that are like offensively bad or average to like this is a good movie. Yeah, and it happens to be a comic book movie.
Yeah, right.
All right. So my list is, we'll recap. Number 3, Logan. Number 2, Infinity War, and number 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Adrian?
Batman Begins, number 3, Avengers, and Iron Man, number 1.
Avengers, Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Chris?
Into the Spider-Verse, Batman Begins, and then Spider-Man 2002.
There you go. So, what are your lists? Drop them in the comments. This will, cause a stir, because not everybody agrees with us. But you don't have to be mad, though. I'm not mad. Are you mad that Chris is, ranked Iron Man below yours? Like, does that upset you, Adrian?
A little bit.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So, there you have it. Top 3 of all time. Now, we're going to get into a little X-Men 97 episode 6 review. So you've not seen it, so we're just going to spoil the hell out of it for you, Chris. So, but we have been reviewing these episodes as we go. Great. I'd highly recommend this. If you're not, it's amazing. I actually think, if we did agree to disagree today, I would say that X-Men 97 is better than X-Men the animated series. They've now surpassed that for me in storytelling. And, the animation right off the bat was just because of the time. Right. But now seeing what they've done so far with just 6 episodes, I think it's superior. Would you agree?
I agree.
What'd you think about this episode 6?
Well, I know where Scott gets his narcissism from. Dude, Charles pissed me off. Besides, who does his voice, man? Somebody needs to do something with his voice, first of all. Yep. That doesn't sound Charles Xavier right like.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But at the end he's screaming, it's like the Martha scream. My X-Men. I'm like, these people are everybody's X-Men, but their own people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They're Scott's X-Men, they're Xavier's X-Men,
they were Magneto's for like 4 episodes.
Right? So I thought it was deep. That whole school timeout thing was kind of childish, I thought. Yep. I didn't like that. But definitely I'm thinking this whole time, okay, so now I know where Scott gets his bullshit from.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're talking about is we see Xavier for the first time this season. Like in live, we've seen him in some flashbacks. Now, did you notice, I thought this was cool, in the opening credits, there's that part where you see each mutant with their name and you get to see the little powers and they're kind of cycling through. Yep. Gambit was replaced with Nightcrawler. Gambit died in the last episode. Right. Remember, he did the whole, Tom Gambit, remember it, But they replaced him. So I think they killed him off for good.
But he shows up in this episode, though, and as a vision.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess that makes sense. He showed up because he's dying and fading out, and Xavier's looking at him. So, that makes sense. But no, I didn't. I usually don't watch those because it's like, why?
Got it. Well, I love the X-Men too, so I'm sitting there just jamming out, listen to it. But yeah, the Wolverine, Gambit was replaced with Nightcrawler. Mm-hmm. Now, we had said last week that Wolverine feels like a guest on this show, right? And a lot of fans were like, "Well, he should be. He's always the face, the number one." I'm not saying he should be the number one. I'm just saying he should do something other than babysit and take Jean to the hospital.
Right.
He is also, what I noticed is he's number 3 in this credit scene. So you got Scott first, Jean, and then Wolverine.
Sure.
How the hell is he number 3 when he's been on the show for about 10 minutes total?
It's popularity. It's just like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. You got to have a trio in pretty much everything. Right. Like in the Avengers, who would it be? Iron Man, Captain America,
Thor.
And who else?
I go with Thor.
Right. So I wouldn't even go with Thor. Because Thor is a new thing. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking MCU. So I guess if we're talking MCU, I go with Thor. But yeah, for comics, God, you'd be Iron Man, Cap. Who
probably Hulk or somebody like that. As far as popularity. So it's not about how much screen time they had. It's about who's popular in the trio.
Yeah. Beginning of this episode was pretty cool, right? You got Lilandra's sister. What the hell's her name? Deathbird,
Warbird, one of them birds.
She's they're fighting the Kree, so we see Ronan show up. So that was pretty cool. I think it's cool too, where you see like characters from the MCU, and then we get to see a version of them in the end. Like we know Ronan from the MCU, right? But they show up. They're fighting the Kree. Of course, everyone's always fighting the Kree. What's up? Why everyone hate the Kree?
I don't know. But they're doing the same thing that the Kree is doing, taking over everything.
Exactly.
But they kind of nerfed him, though, dude.
They did.
I was like,
she smacked the shit out of him.
Really? Right. Warbird. Whatever bird she was. I mean, Ronin, come on, but Gladiator was
awesome, dude. Oh yeah, we're about to get into that right now, dude. Man, Gladiator.
They just make a whole show about Gladiator. Yep. That dude was bad.
Oh man, so they're interrupted by Lilandra. They're announcing that Xavier is getting married to Lilandra. And that stops them from conquering the Kree, apparently. So they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, hey, let's go deal with this right now." Like,
bodies floating past. Yeah,
dude, Ronin's on the ground getting his ass kicked. She's got like her heel in his face. He starts bleeding.
Oh, you see that rated R, man? She's got his heel like dug into his freaking face. That was cool.
Yep. This ain't your little nephew's cartoon, Chris. This is adult shit. And then long story short, they announced that these two are getting married,
right?
And
everybody's upset.
Everyone's upset. They oppose it because he's not one of us.
He's type a Terran.
Yeah, Terran. But he also then they challenge. The sister says like, you can marry him if he's willing to wipe his memory of Earth.
Right.
Forget about your X-Men and all that good stuff. Right. And then we find out that through them talking, Xavier wants to see the X-Men.
Right.
But we do see a little bit of a fight between them. And this is the part you're talking about with Gladiator, dude.
Right.
Dude, the sister attacks Lilandra,
right,
and she basically like tells Gladiator, like he steps in and absorbs the blow and just smacks the shit out of her, like she's not even standing there.
Yep.
She flies away like some small child.
Yep.
And then he uses like, what is it, the
super breath.
Super breath, yes.
On the guards.
Yep.
Right.
Dude, the first thing I said was like to myself, this is his like Superman moment.
Yeah.
Like Gladiator is Superman.
Exactly.
I bet you were hyped for this part.
I saw it. I'm like, oh, but it's not that just he's Superman, right?
Yeah.
He's like what I would imagine. I think Superman is awesome, but they just make him this schoolboy too much, right? Mm-hmm. I would love to see a like Superman : Black. Like he's on some alien world, like smashing all the alien chicks, whatever, and just being just raw, right?
Yep.
Like Gladiator, which is basically Gladiator, right?
Yep.
But I just love the way they made him just even move. He was just like he just. Woof, woof. Yep. I mean, he was just it was just awesome. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene. It was, and there's a little flashback in this episode between you go from this setting in space to Storm and Forge. Forge is all messed up. He got bit by that demon, the adversary. I think. You ever heard of that before? Or is it the first time seeing this shit?
I mean, giant owl. Come on, no.
But I don't know a whole lot about Forge. But that's some demon of his past. Basically, what we find out here is Storm is repressing her own powers.
Correct.
It's like a mental block, and the demon's kind of taking advantage of that, right? And I mean, we're not going to go through scene by scene, but there's a really cool scene here when she gets her powers. So they go travel to this mountain. They're in the cave. And, of course, the cactus needed to heal the poison that Forge has been injected with is down a tight space, right? How could
Of course, in a coffin.
In a coffin. And guess what? Storm's claustrophobic. So, of course, that's where. Why would it be anywhere else, Chris? I mean, that's where it would be, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like if it was Superman, it'd be on like a planet where it's surrounded by kryptonite,
Yeah, his favorite.
Yeah, his favorite. Yeah. So they put her in her favorite situation. She's and then as she's crawling up this tunnel, because Forge is too damaged from this poison, he can't do it. She is then. This demon visits her again, right? Which is more of like an embodiment of her own fear. How'd you feel about this whole scene?
I thought it was kind of nonsensical because I don't understand the correlation. You got shot by something physical that supposedly take away your powers.
Yeah.
But what's preventing you from regaining your power is your own mind. I didn't understand the correlation. Unless when she went into the machine, she Forge really did reverse her powers, but she still had a mental block. She was like on the fence about because you remember that conversation she had with Jean,
right? Where
I wish I was a human and all this other kind of stuff. So maybe that part of it was kind of like blocking her, but Forge had actually fixed her in the machine.
Right.
So almost maybe that's, as I'm talking through it, that could have happened.
Yeah.
But I just didn't understand the correlation.
It took me, I watched it a couple of times to really kind of grasp it. And there was a part where Forge mentions a white lie, right? And how white lies turn into like these big things that whatever. And I think he was referring to, because she came back to this, the conversation she had with Jean, she said that she thought it would be easier to live as a human.
Right.
which I think that's what he was getting at was the white lie. Like, no, it wouldn't, you know. But because she said that, she believed it, and then her own fear, whatever, somehow the demon preyed on her own fear and ended up causing her to basically repress her own powers. So what happened, Chris, she got zapped with this gun earlier in one of the episodes, and the gun, the executioner shot her, and it basically suppressed her powers. Mm-hmm. So now she left the X-Men on this journey to try to find, you know, get her powers back. Forge put her in some machine that was supposed to reverse it, but then her powers didn't come back. Then we learn here that she was suppressing her own powers. So she's in this tunnel or in this little cave thing crawling up. Long story short, she gets her powers back. Through talking through the demon, she realizes that, oh, I've had these powers all along. So the demon's like mocking her, like, you thought you'd be better as a human, all this shit. And then she gets her powers back, gets a new suit. This is a pretty badass scene. Once the electricity started, like, that was cool as shit. How'd you feel about when she got her powers back?
Only thing I don't like about it is that she, you know, messing with the horses and stuff. She could have left them alone. But no, what they basically did was revert her back to from that punk rock look to the traditional Storm outfit. You know, the full head of hair, the black outfit. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets her powers back, gets a new suit, whole deal. Her and Forge are going back to their little, you know, now she loves him, even though like the weapon he created fucked her up in the first place. But she was willing to forgive that.
Well,
no problem.
Technically, he didn't create the weapon. He created the technology which was adopted to the weapon.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, 6 1, half a dozen the other. But whatever, just forgive him. Cool, you know.
Sure.
Whatever. It's no big deal. Xavier agrees to have his memory wiped, right? And then he hesitates, like he agrees to forget Earth, but once they go forget your X-Men, he's like, whoa, my X-Men, slow up, you know, chill. Right. And then Deathbird notices this. This is the scene we were just talking about where she attacks her sister, and then Xavier flexes his powers and puts everyone in school. Right. He's like, oh, I forgot I had all these powers, and he puts them in like this astral plane school where he starts giving them some lecture on like coexistence, right? What did you think about this moment?
I thought it was stupid. It wasn't required. I mean, if he really wanted to flex, he just would have put everybody to sleep. Matter of fact, there was no reason for the fight to have even happened.
True.
Matter of fact, he could have just made the council, including Bird Girl, forget that she had some opposition to him at all.
Yep.
You know? But my biggest thing was like, dude, you've had 50 years, whatever, a long time with the X-Men, right? But you're so narcissistic that you think that they need you so much. But it actually is that you need them, right? You got this hot alien empress want to marry you, right? You're going to be ruler of a freaking intergalactic kingdom.
Yeah.
My X-Men. Come on, man. I had this conversation with my wife. I'm like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Out. You guys have had enough time with me.
Yep. Oh, damn. So some alien chick shows up and just like, yo, let's go.
You lost me at space. I'm done.
I thought I didn't hate this scene. I thought it kind of walked the line of like almost being too cringy at times. Yeah. You know, like the whole, you're going to give demerits if you don't raise your hand. Like, okay. But in this astral plane, he gets a vision of what you were just kind of talking about, a giant Gambit at first, but then we see everyone in the class turns into skeletons, so it's like they're dead. Right. And then Gambit, we see a giant Gambit, but then he also turns into skeleton. This translates to Xavier seeing a vision of certain X-Men being, because last episode, a bunch of them were killed off.
Well, I'm assuming that the timeline of this was at the same time.
I think so too.
That the place blew up with the Sentinel, 3-headed Sentinel.
The last episode, yep. I think so too, because this couldn't have been after. Right. So he must have saw it. Like, so he's in this astral plane, and then they're killed literally while he's trying to give a science lesson, you know. But one of the things he did say, he said coexistence is messy, you know, and then he starts getting that vision. So from there, he kind of passes out. Then when he wakes back up, your favorite line, he goes, "It is time. I return to my X-Men."
Right. He's like, listen. You're great and all that, but if that means I gotta give up my X-Men, we're done.
Yep, we're done.
I'm like, wow, that's where Sky gets it from.
Yep, exactly. Then we see it wrap up with Bolivar Trask is running and he's running. We can't see who he's running from at first, and ends up being Sinister. And he says a line like, "I already let you use my DNA, so you can use Master Mold." So we saw Master Mold in the previous episodes. Right. which you need Trask's DNA to use that, which he then gave to Sinister. We know Sinister's playing around with everyone's DNA and shit. Like, he's like a Nazi scientist, which is actually a lot of his origin is very similar to DNA.
I was going to say, that's his whole existence right there. I mean, he gave himself mutant powers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, that's some shit, dude. Turn himself. See, we were naturally born mutants here, Chris. We didn't have to turn ourselves into mutants like Sinister. But we realized Sinister is behind the whole thing. He's the one that staged the attack on Genosha. He's responsible for Gambit being killed or having to sacrifice himself. Several other, the Morlocks, a lot of those, where Callisto was killed, like a lot. He's responsible for, dude, the thing about not episode 6, but episode 5.
It was a massacre.
It was like genocide.
Right.
Like, it hit me even after we recorded last week. Like, wait a minute, dude. This was a cartoon that we just witnessed genocide in a cartoon. You know, like
a man named Sinister. You know,
exactly.
You thought he'd have better morals.
You know,
Oh, there's that.
There is that. But yeah, so this episode, I mean, I've ranked all these pretty high. Adrian, if I had to score this one, I'd give this one a solid 8. Yeah.
The previous one was my best.
Yes.
I think. The better. Even though in the beginning I'm like, where is this going? Where's this going?
It took us on a little ride.
At the end, I mean, but anticipation. Talk about anticipation, right? I'm just waiting for Magneto to just go ape shit.
He has to.
At this point, I mean, you just killed off like literally everything that not only have I worked for, and and he's like, I didn't even want to do this shit. Right. I'm trying to, uphold somebody else's legacy. So you shit on what I'm doing. And I didn't want to do it in the first place, but I did it. You shit on the original dude's idea.
Yep.
You killed everything that I've ever fought for in my entire life. I mean, it's gonna be horrendous, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully in a new suit though.
I hope he goes back.
Hopefully that suit got blown apart
when he was
giant
killed.
M.
Please do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do what we did last time, Adrian. We're gonna take 2 weeks off of reviewing X-Men. Let 2 episodes build up. So next week we will not be reviewing X-Men. We're gonna give it a little 2-episode build up, and we're getting to the end of this show. I hope we don't have to wait a year for season 2. I hope it's like, because back with the animation, like a lot of times you may get 2 seasons in a year. Back like it's not like these shows like Game of Thrones and stuff where you get 1 season every 3 years or whatever. So I'm hoping we get something soon. So Chris, I highly recommend checking this show out, dude. It's been great so far. I mean, we have some small critiques here and there, but I think the lowest we gave an episode was like a 7.5. Like everything was really good so far.
Give you guys some homework.
Absolutely.
For animation.
Yeah.
I've started rewatching a little bit 2002 Ninja Turtles.
Ooh. I've never seen that.
Great.
Really?
It was great. The theme song gets you pumped.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's probably, in my opinion, it's probably the best rendition of the Ninja Turtles.
Really? I remember the old 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
I never saw a 2002 one.
I don't even remember 2002. Nope, don't remember. I know I've seen them.
Yeah. Watch the theme song and then just throw on 1 or 2.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's aged pretty well.
Have you seen the latest movie, Mutant Mayhem, the animated one?
Not.
That's a great one.
I've really wanted to.
That was
see
really
it,
good.
though.
I'm looking forward to that sequel.
Yeah.
We haven't heard that in the news much lately, but I'm looking forward to that sequel too.
I saw the previews for it, and that's something that wouldn't exist without like Into the Spider-Verse and whatnot.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yep. All right. Well, that wraps up our X-Men 97 review for episode 6, Lifedeath Part 2. I'm giving that an 8, Adrian. You agree with that?
Yeah, I go with an 8.
8? Okay.
Even though I didn't, it's like Xavier made Scott make sense to me.
Yeah.
That's really what I got out of this whole thing.
And we get some backlash. That's a new word too. We get some backlash
Explosive
and some backlash.
Is that an actor?
Huh? It could be, yeah. It might be, dude, sooner or later. But we get a lot of shit sometimes for our take on Cyclops. So I've said this, Chris. Cyclops is the walking embodiment of cringe. Now, I don't dislike Cyclops. I'm talking about his character. He's a full-grown Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Right? Which sometimes gets annoying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing from like a character. Like he's never been my favorite character. He's still powerful as shit, which we've seen a lot in this show, like his eye optic blast or whatever. But I say he's one of the him and Captain America are like up there as far as like Captain Cringe.
Right.
Yeah. Who would you say is more cringe, Adrian?
Oh, definitely Scott.
Yeah.
Definitely Scott. But I mean, the first couple of episodes, and something I've never even seen in the comics. I mean, it could have been in the comics, but I just didn't see it. Where the plane got exploded or whatever. The X-Men were in the jet and it exploded or whatever.
Yep.
And everybody else, those that could fly grabbed people that couldn't fly, except for Scott. Scott, he was like, well-to-do, blah, blah, blah. This dude opened up optic blast down to the ground, and he just stopped himself.
Yeah.
He landed himself. That was cool. I'd never seen that before. And then, like, I think it was the second episode, he would actually move himself around a room by using his optic blast like a thrust.
Yep.
So that was cool, too. So he's a very cool. His power set is cool. Him and his brother, Havoc. But that whole I'm holding on because of you, but it's really me kind of thing. It's getting old. It's getting old. It's like Superman with the boys kryptonite. It's getting old.
Yeah, definitely. So there you have it. I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes. This is episode 6. There's 4 episodes left, Adrian.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this ride, dude. Been good so far. So we're gonna wrap with a little We Respond, Chris. Okay, this is fan favorite segment. I only got a few this week because of the sake of time. I don't want to pull a Zack Snyder up in here, and have a 4-hour podcast in black and white.
Right.
Of all things, we just do it in slow mo. We just take the same podcast, put it out in slow mo, and that would be the Snyder cut.
Yeah, it would get it done.
Yep.
People would call us geniuses.
Absolutely. Some of these people, Adrian, I'm not even going to read their names, okay? I'm just going to read their stupid statements, okay? Some of them. Because, like, you convinced me. Because sometimes, Chris, I like to give the wrong people attention because they say stupid shit. But I'm not going to give them any attention. I may take some of their statements and just throw them up. So feel free to react however you want, say. Right. Someone says the Eternals hate is wild. I don't think that the Eternals hate's wild, though.
The Eternals hate is, first of all, it's not hate. It's just an observation.
Right.
It's our opinion. And it's definitely not wild.
No.
It's just, it comes up from time to time. We say the same thing. It sucked.
Yes.
I haven't heard of anyone liking it.
No. Oh, there's some. Yeah. Go on TikTok. You'll see a few.
Might be the one.
Yeah, there's one. Here's one. This one for you,
Just
Chris.
one.
Someone says, actually, JB. It's not too offensive. JB says Morbius is actually a good movie.
No, it's not. But I mean, I'm all for like having fun and watching bad stuff as much as the next guy, but it's not even like a competent film.
No,
like it's just like a net nothing.
Wrong. He says
wrong.
Wow, he said the movie was a nothing.
Yeah, and he's like, nope, not at all,
no.
dude. Oh man, a lot of them on this Eternal. They say Eternals is miles ahead of Madam Web.
Miles ahead.
No,
miles ahead.
Nope. Justice for the Eternals. Dude, they got some Eternals supporters on here too.
Wow.
Found a new group here.
I think so. Yeah, it's a whole like support group for the
fan
Eternals.
club didn't write in.
Yeah, it's all one fan. It's after school Eternals club.
I don't know what's going on, but whatever.
Coach Dom says y'all absolutely hate Justice League. We do not. We do not. You know the best thing about the video of the 1 million video, the your Justice League explanation, Adrian, is you had a Justice League hat on in the video while he's going. It only takes 2. That was probably the best part of that.
Thanks, Coach Tom.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Oh, Keebler says, me and my son can't stop talking about the possibility of Stark returning. I hope Cap can return too. So we had a few weeks back talked about Secret Wars. I mean, I'm pretty sure Robert Downey Jr. is going to show up. Now, I'm okay with it, and I think you agreed, Adrian, if it's a variant, not the Earth 616 version that died in Endgame. If it's from another universe, it's not that Tony. I'm cool with seeing Robert Downey Jr. pop back in.
Yeah.
Now, my man Keebler is saying him and his son, they can't stop talking about it because they heard it here on Only Comics First. So,
nice. But
he's saying, I hope Cap can return too. Now, if it's a different version, not like the old man de-ages like Benjamin Button or some shit, would you be cool with that, Chris Evans?
Joe Biden up there with his
Joe Biden. Just don't get him near any bicycles or stairs or anything like that.
I mean, we had what's his face play, Batman jumping out of a speeding jet. Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Who's coming back with another Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice too. Yeah.
But so we probably could have Joe Biden play
Let's do it.
Steve Rogers.
Keep his dogs away because they hear they're biting everyone. But Cap, Adrian, what do you think?
I enjoyed Captain America.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers coming back. Let's just sunset him.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm so used to these characters dying and coming back.
Yeah.
Through any kind of adversity. It wouldn't surprise me if they came back for some kind of way. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about it. I wouldn't even have a problem with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Tony Stark on 616.
Really?
Nah.
Oh,
Why not?
You've changed, come around.
I
You turned a leaf. Look at that.
I have. It's too powerful of a character to just get rid of. Even if you have a variant come from another place to 616, it just wouldn't be the same, I don't think. And I'm not even talking about Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Tony Stark. I'm talking about 616 Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Have they pulled Ironheart out again?
Not since Black Panther 2, but they're supposed to be doing a show.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
A show or a movie?
Show.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be cool with him. But in Secret Wars, have you read Secret Wars?
No.
It takes place in Battle World, and they do reprise dead characters. There are characters from other universes, so I'd be cool with them showing up there. I wouldn't want them to come back to the Earth 616, that timeline.
Yeah.
But what about you? You cool with Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans coming back?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to see him again. I would love if it was old man Steve Rogers in there. That would make it fun for me.
Funny.
And, there could be some fun with that if you go see him. He's giving advice to whoever the younger version is at the time. There could be something there.
Just don't throw the shield anymore because you might get hurt.
Yeah.
Do you both hate DC? No, not at all. You hate DC?
Nope.
I don't hate DC.
Nope.
All right.
Just hate the Ezra Miller version of The Flash.
Yeah.
I actually love DC. DC, hire me.
Yeah, hire Chris.
If you're listening, hire me.
Mr. J. Rodriguez, he's commented before. He said, I feel like Wolverine is in the void in X-Men 97. Yeah, we do too.
Yep.
And that brings up another note. Everyone was in the comment, oh, well, it's good to see him on the sideline. Again, I don't want him to lead the X-Men.
Right.
I just want him to, do something.
Right.
Like, they're fighting all these Sentinels. Everyone's dying, and he's not even there.
Well, I mean, technically, when he was with Gambit, right?
Yep, the first one.
The first one, he cut that Sentinel off.
Yep.
With
Ain't done
6-inch
shit
blades,
since then.
he cut through a 17-foot Sentinel head with the help of Gambit.
Yep.
So he's done for 10 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, he needs a break. No,
Damn.
whatever. No, he needs. Yeah, you're right. All this stuff going on, and the highlight of him is running Jean to the hospital and rejecting her advances underwater where nobody can see him.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Seriously. J.O. Easy agrees with our Joker take. He's giving the trailer a thumb down. Did you see Joker 2 trailer?
I have not.
Oh, my God. Ooh, yeah.
It's a musical.
It's a musical? Yeah. And it's...
I think I commented on something that, I could... If it's a Harley-centered film...
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool with that, but don't call it Joker.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's her movie, let's call it
give her a movie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe that's the tone of what they're doing.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Adrian predicted that Lady Gaga would outshine Joaquin Phoenix.
I believe so.
Some fans had some feelings about that. They're like, well, how could you say that, if you've never seen the first movie? Like, he's just saying Lady Gaga is a great actress. Have you seen her acting in other things outside of, when she's playing a singer?
I actually haven't.
Okay.
I've never seen her in anything, but
Yeah.
I look at, even the commercials, right? You look at body language. I've been doing this for a minute, right?
Yep.
You look at body language. You look at how people, what's the face that played Captain Marvel? She always looks like she doesn't want to be in the movie.
Yes.
And Lady Gaga, she just has that presence about her. Even if you just take a glimpse, you know how you can see you walking on the street and you see people that are zombies, and then you see people that are energized and they are in motion because they got a purpose.
Yep.
You see that stuff. That's what Lady Gaga looks to me.
Yeah.
Looks like to me.
I've seen her act in other things. She's a very good actress.
Yeah. What have you seen her in?
A Star is Born came out
that was
few
great.
years back. It was great.
Yep.
It was great. She did a great job.
Yep. So one guy's like, well, I saw her play a singer. And like, well, first of all, she did a lot more than just play a singer in that role.
Yeah.
That was a small part of it. Like, she actually acted. And she also was in American Horror Story. She's won a Golden Globe.
Which I've heard is
yeah. So to your point, I think that's a very valid prediction. Like, we're talking about a Golden Globe award-winning actress, so she can't outshine Joaquin Phoenix.
Right. Whatever.
That's why they were renamed Nameless. So Jamie says Joker Part 1 was horrible. Part 2 is going to be horrendous.
Wow.
I wouldn't say the first one was
I
horrible,
don't know if it's horrible.
but it's like, yeah, so that's a stretch, right?
Did you leave that comment about Morbius?
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
I don't like Joaquin Phoenix as an actor for whatever reason.
Yeah.
The only thing I've actually stomached him in was M. Night Shyamalan movie about the aliens out in the cornfield or whatever with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's about it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and he just doesn't look like the Joker to me.
True.
Like any version of the Joker, old Joker, young Joker, whatever.
Right. I didn't hate it, but it kind of falls along the lines of a lot of these Sony movies. Why are we doing Batman movies without Batman? And why does the Joker, it's like Han Solo for me. Why did we need his origin?
Yeah.
He's actually better without an origin.
Right.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm just a guy who does a comic book podcast. Couple more. My man Dubes 84. So we talked about a few weeks ago. You ever watch a movie, Chris, a comic movie, and your eyes start to sweat a little bit? You know, some emotional moments, right? You know, so we listed like, hey, what are some moments that, you know, got your eyes warm, as Adrian says, right? And we talked, I mean, a lot of the classic moments, you know, Tony Stark dying, Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. My man Dubes 84 says, I cried at the end of Friday the 13th, Part 2 when Jason dies. I mean, that was a sad moment, right? You know,
loved him like a brother.
Yeah, the serial killer gets killed at the end.
Not a comic book movie, but
but you know what, Dubes, that was funny. You know, we'll give you that one. We'll give you a little bit of shine. Last one, we're going to talk about Dark Knight 81. He's a frequent commenter on YouTube. He says, really good show, guys. I agree with that. You definitely agree.
I give that a thumbs up.
Yeah. You were talking about Brandon R. playing Superman.
Yep.
He says, I thought Brandon R. was a pretty good Superman. I'd have liked to see him again.
Yep.
Now he poses a question, and this is a good question to end this episode with. Could Batman solo the X-Men with adequate time to plan?
Could Batman solo
the X-Men?
Yes.
With prep time?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to go yes. What do you say, Chris?
I want to say yes because I believe in my boy.
Of course.
You know, he's my boy. And
My boy.
I'm saying yes because I'm a Batman fanboy.
Yep.
So
same.
I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
And I'm one that I subscribe. I know a lot of fans hate this, but I subscribe to the with prep time Batman can be anyone. I'm just, it's always going to be yes. I mean, could he beat Marvel's Santa Claus with prep time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
I think with prep time, he can, because the first thing that he does when he meets anybody, whether he's sexing them, whether they're enemies, whether they're friends, he does a discovery on them.
Correct.
He finds out everything about them. Like when he first met Superman for the first time, tracked him down to his apartment in Metropolis, and then after that, he just knew he was Clark. Like Green Lantern. Green Lantern comes to him like all bad and stuff. The Hal Jordan, not the other one. Comes to him all bad and stuff. What does Batman do? He
takes the ring off his finger.
I'm like, come on.
Yep.
Who does that?
Exactly.
Superman just tossed him over his shoulder like he was like nothing. And Superman comes like, oh, you crazy? But then, of course, he stops because Superman's a pussy.
Right.
It won't actually do anything about
people
it.
are going to love that one.
So.
But yeah, I think so. So you die on that hill too, Batman?
Yeah, I'm a
Prep
Batman
time?
fanboy.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll stay on it.
Yep.
Stay on it.
Stay on it. Well, this was fun. We made it a year. We lasted longer than most celebrity marriages and a lot of other things. And we're just getting started. It's like this was our year one, you know, our origin story.
This is the year one.
Yep. And now we're here. What's coming next? So y'all been asking about Spotify. As of this episode dropping, we're now on Spotify. So there you have it. You can watch it there. And we're just going to keep growing. Guys, check out onlycomicsmerch.com. Support the show a little bit. That's what you can do. People, how can we support? Buy a T-shirt. Tell your friends about it. Share this with someone that you know, you love, someone that you hate. I mean, maybe it might piss them off. You never know. You could be dual use, right? It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate, Adrian, you walking or taking a trip with me every week, dude. Chris, thanks for popping back in, you know, here and there. He's like that reoccurring guy. He's like Wilson on Home Improvement, you know. You're not going to see him all the time.
I'm a Seinfeld character. I just pop in, pop out.
There you go.
But congrats, guys. Congrats on the 1 year.
Thank you.
It's huge.
Same to you, dude. Keep kicking ass on the comic book world. And DC. It'd be a good way for y'all to get better because you do need to get better. I mean, absolutely. You know, we're not DC haters, but hey, hire Chris.
Yep. Just a cameo. That's the picture.
Yep. That's the picture.
Get it down.
There we go. Chris Boyle art at gmail.com. DC, come on.
There you go. Yep. Or Marvel too. I mean, anyone, right? Yeah. So now they're gonna say we're DC biased. It's like you only want, you know. But we're not biased to anything. You know, we're biased to. We're biased to good content.
Exactly.
And unfortunately for DC, Marvel's been on a run that DC has not been on.
That's true.
I mean, there you have it. So, but anyways, thanks for coming in again, Chris. Thanks for watching. Dallin, thanks for a year of comments and love, hate, everything in between. We appreciate you all. And that's the thing. Even though some of your comments are stupid and some of them are really stupid, I still love you all and appreciate all of you. That's why I keep bringing this gift to you every single week with my boy Adrian. Chris will be back. He'll be back at some point. We don't know. Yep. He'll just pop in, you know. And check out his comic, By the First Night, please. And we appreciate y'all checking us out. You know where to find us every week right now on YouTube and Spotify. We'll see you next week on Only Comics.